Shinzo Abe has died.
Shinzo Abe was gunned down while giving a speech.
Shinzo Abe has died.
The world was shocked by the news of the assassination of the former Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe. Condolences poured in across the globe, including world leaders like former Australian Prime Minister Tony Abbott, US President Joe Biden, former Philippine President Rodrigo Duterte, and many others. He was shot in the broad daylight by this man. The reason? He is dissatisfied with the former Prime Minister, and he had a grudge against a specific organization. Japan is well known to be one of the safest countries in the world where political violence and gun crimes are very rare. So why did he kill Abe? Let's look deeper into the real reason behind the assassination of the former Prime Minister Shinzo Abe.
The country is in shock.
The former Prime Minister arrived at the hospital. He did not have a heartbeat.
On July 8, 2022, at 11:30 a.m., outside Yamatosai Daiichi Station in Nara City, Shinzo Abe was delivering a campaign speech for a candidate for the Liberal Democratic Party, or LDP, when this happened. He was shot from behind at close range by a man with a homemade firearm. A 41-year-old former Navy man named Tetsuya Yamagami. He attempted to flee the scene but was detained by security officials. Abe was shot in the neck and chest area, and he was sent to a local hospital. After around 5.5 hours of being shot, Abe was pronounced dead at 5:03 p.m. Abe died from loss of blood after a bullet damaged an artery under his collarbone. After 3 days, Yamagami was investigated on what motivated him in the assassination. He told the investigators that his motive was personal rather than political. Apparently, it's because of Abe's link to a religious organization, a church called Unification Church. He told the police that his mother was a member of this church in Japan who attended church events every month. After joining the church around 1991 to 1998, his mother gave donations to the church, which was about 100 million yen or $720,000, a parcel of land, and the house where she lived with her 3 children. Then later declared bankruptcy in 2002, but she continued donating to the church following the bankruptcy. His father committed suicide because of a failing construction business. His older brother, who had a long time struggle with cancer, also committed suicide in 2015 because they cannot afford the medical bills. This tragedy greatly impacted Yamagami, according to his uncle. He blamed the church for his financial problems and held a grudge against the religious group. He researched Abe to his connection to the church and made plans for the attack. He believed that the former prime minister spread the church's influence throughout Japan. So what is the Unification Church? It is a religious movement in South Korea, founded in 1954 by a man named Sun Myung-moon, a preacher who claimed to be a Messiah. Its followers are also called Moonies, coming from the founder's name. The church's beliefs revolved around family and marriage as shown on their official website. No wonder they love to hold mass weddings held in sports stadiums, and they also love guns. This is a gun-based Mooney church that was started by his son. So how did it reach its missionary in Japan? The church made a footprint in Japan around 1959 when missionaries were sent into the neighboring country. A man named Choi Sang-ik, also known as Papa San by its members, an early disciple of Moon, entered Japan illegally in 1958 and initiated its missionary activities. By 1964, the church in Japan was headed by the chairman Osami Kuboki, and was officially recognized as a religious institution. But in Japan, the church has been a serious social problem since the 1980s. Some of the problems are that the Unification Church uses people's personal worries and anxieties to force them to buy unreasonably expensive items like this book that was sold to a follower for 30 million yen, or around $200,000. Japan has provided the church 70% of its wealth and gets funding based on what is called spiritual sales. In 1987, about 300 lawyers in Japan set up an association called the National Network of Lawyers Against Spiritual Sales to help victims of the Unification Church or similar organizations. According to statistics by lawyers between 1987 to 2021, they received 34,537 complaints alleging that the church had forced people to make unreasonably large donations or purchase large amounts of items, amounting to about 123.7 billion yen, or around $800 million. No wonder people like Imagami's family are suffering from financial hardships. So the big question now is, was Shinzo Abe linked to this church? Shintaro Abe, father of Shinzo Abe, a former prime minister, and his grandfather, along with Nobusuke Kishi, a former prime minister, had a long-standing ties to the Unification Church. It was said that Shintaro Abe depended on the church for his election campaigns. Also, reports says that the first headquarters of the church was land owned by Kishi. Does this justify Abe's killing? He was a good statesman and deeply dedicated to serving his country. He made long-lasting ties with other countries and was a good friend of President Duterte and other world leaders. It is personal and family ties with a religious organization lead to his killing. Comment down below for your thoughts and like and subscribe for more videos like this.